International aid and development is not that easy to define, as there is quite many different definitions behind it. And the one that I've found through my research is the government working with international organisations and governments from poorer countries to try and help end poverty as best they can. So the Marshall Plan was an American initiative after World War II, as the whole of Europe was basically left in ruins. So the Americans came up with this initiative to give them $12 billion to help rebuild the whole of Western Europe after World War II. At the Millennium Summit in September 2000, the largest gathering of world leaders in history adopted the UN Millennium Declaration, committing their nations to a new global partnership to reduce extreme poverty and setting out a series of time-bound targets with a deadline of 2015 that have now become known as the Millennium Development Goals. Millennium Development Goals are the world's time-bound quantified targets for addressing extreme poverty, and its many dimensions include poverty, hunger, disease, lack of shelter, and exclusion, while promoting gender equality, education, and environmental sustainability. They're also basic human rights.
Sustainable Development Goals are targets that were created by the United Nations as the MDGs were reached. After the MDGs were reached, the UN needed to ensure that they would be sustained. Therefore, the SDGs were created. These goals are to be reached by the year 2030. So just a bit about the United Nations. They are based in New York City. They were founded in 1945. They take actions on humanity in the 21st century, and they're made up of 193 member states. So Sport Development for Peace was a scheme made up by the United Nations. It was founded in 2001 by Kofi Annan, and they put the scheme in place to bring the worlds of sport and development together. And it refers to the international use of sport by trying to achieve certain goals and targets, which are the SDGs. The United Nations state that the right of access to and participation in sport and play has long been recognised in a number of international conventions. They state that sport has a unique power to attract, mobilise and inspire. And finally, sport is not a cure all for development problems.
A governmental organisation is any non-profit voluntary citizens group which is organised on a local, national and international level. They are very task-oriented and driven by people with a common interest. They provide analysis and expertise and help monitor and implement international agreements. So the NGOs can work within the UN system in one of either two ways. The first way is through consultative status with the Economic and Social Council, which is known as the ECOSOC, or they get associated with the UN Department of Public Information.
Created using Powtoon.